Welcome to Out of Isolation, the video series where we as tour guides take you to the places so you don't have to. I'm Hugo from Walks 101 and today I am standing in front of our famous General Post Office, the GPO. What was the GPO? Today is an H&M. John, where are you?
Well, I was looking at you a second ago, but you moved, so...
Should I come back? Can you see me now?
Yeah!
How about I wave?
Let's do it. Yeah, there you are. There we go. So I can see you just out the street. This is our proper social distancing going on right there. Hold on. Oh, you move back, move to the right 3 steps. Keep going, go, 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 go. Keep going, keep going. Now turn around and face the building and give me a wave. There we are. I see you right there. Social distancing in action. I am inside the H&M. I'm having to shop right now, as a matter of fact. But actually, it is the original post office, which is why I'm here. I want to show you the inside of this building. Hugo, what do you know about this building?
I know that it is one of the finest examples of Gold Rush architecture in Melbourne, and I know for a long time that right up there, all the way up there, that clock tower was the tallest spot in the city, and people would come all over from this new settlement of Melbourne when the day the post arrived. The day the post arrived, John, was a pretty important day, I'm told.
Yeah, that's right. And people would flock from all over to see it. The post would arrive, the big flagpole would go up, if you can point the camera over that flagpole now, Hugo. And that would mean people would fly, they would run over to this place. Now, the building itself is a reflection of how important the post office is to society at the time. We are 8-month steamship journey away from the capital of the British Empire. And so what do? We have this grand looking building behind me. So you can see the big atrium here with those amazing skylights up top. This is actually largely what the building looked like when it first opened in 1861. It's an incredible building, and one of the things it's doing is it's trying to show off how much wealth they have here. So the one way that they show off as much wealth as possible is those glass lights. One of the most expensive building materials in Melbourne at the time, or in the world at the time, is glass. And so what they do is they make this building filled with these beautiful glass skylights. And so nowadays H&M's taken it over, and the CEO has actually called this the most beautiful H&M in the world. They've only been here for a few years now, but it's absolutely an incredible building to come check out. And it's also been preserved thanks to the Heritage Council. Heritage Council is the organization here in Melbourne whose job it is to preserve this building. And if you look behind me there, you'll see a big glass column, which I'm about to go inside right now. It is a lift. Because when they opened this building, they wanted to actually dig into the wall to put a lift inside, but the Heritage Council said, no, this is a building of historic importance and you are not allowed to put a lift there. So they had to spend $1 million making this freestanding 1-story lift, which is what I'm gonna ride in right now while you tell us some more, Hugo.
Classy. Well, I was just reminded when this building has only been in H&M for a few years, and many Europeans will be shocked to find out that it was so popular that the first H&M was opening in Melbourne that people lined up. People slept out
I was here
overnight to be the first people inside this ode to cheap fast fashion.
I think, by way of explanation for Europeans and Americans, it's going to Europe is something that everybody does here. And so, as a result, people would go to Europe and they'd see this amazingly cheap clothes store. And so, they got a lot of buzz before it opened. So, it's definitely died down now, but for a few weeks after it opened, it was just the bee's knees.
Yeah. People were like, tourists were like, did they not have clothes in Australia that you can buy? Why are people lining up to get into H&M?
Well, one problem with this lift is it doesn't seem to be working. I just stood in the lift. I should have cheated that and just had me come out, pretend like I'm on the ground floor. We'll keep going.
Do you want to cut now?
Nah, let's keep going. I like it. I like what we've got so far. So, in the meantime, I'm just going to make my way outside of this building now. The building itself, though, if you're looking at the exterior, Hugo, as you're walking down Burke Street, you'll be able to notice that the 3rd story is actually made of a slightly different stone because it was built later. The 3rd story of this building was built as an afterthought because they just didn't make the building big enough. And so as I make my way outside of this building, I'm going to show you what they had to do. So what they had to do is first there was a wooden hut on this ground, then they tore that down, built a 2-story building, realized it wasn't big enough, so they built the 3rd story on it with that grand clock tower, and then they realized it still wasn't big enough. And so they took one of the biggest apartments. This is a time when post offices used to have things like the railway station inside of it. They took one of the biggest offices and they moved it across the street. So I'm just gonna walk across the street right now to show you one of the biggest apartments, which is the money order office. Of course, in a place where the gold rush is the thing that built this city. The money order office is of paramount importance for people to send their money back to Hungary or back to Canada or wherever in the world. And so as we look across the street, we have another beautiful gold rush architecture building, which now has a hotel in it, the Mantra Hotel, as well as some restaurants, and we'll have an episode that will be coming out at some point of us going to one of the bars in the basement of it, but that's it. Right there, the money order office, the grand building on the corner of Little Burke and Driver Lane, and that's over there is Elizabeth Street.
Now, John, I was just thinking, for our younger audiences, why need a money order office? Couldn't you just send money like online banking on your app? Like, what's a money order office, man?
There was a time before the internet, Hugo.
Not sure when that was.
Honestly, like, we're being sarcastic about it, but it is so hard. Even just remember 20 years ago how we communicated back then. But imagine a time when you wanted to communicate with someone and you had to send a letter. It would take 8 months to get to the UK, and it'd take 8 months to get back here. So, like, when the letters arrived to this post office,
if they
the entire
arrived,
world
John.
changed. Yeah, that's true. If they arrived.
Many ships never made it all the way into port.
Well, while you make your way down Burke Street Mall there, Hugo, I'm going to go into this side entrance, and I'm going to start making my way up the staircase. So I'm now on Elizabeth Street for locals who are here. And I would encourage you at some point to go into this side entrance to the H&M. Because when you go in that side entrance, you don't actually go into H&M. You can take an immediate left and start ascending the stairs, and they have these great plaques about the history of this site. So I'm looking at one right now with the original building before the current. You actually see in this picture the post office being constructed over the original building behind it. So some early developments here in Melbourne. And as you make your way up this staircase, there's actually offices in this building that are not the H&M. There are more plaques. So I'm going to start making my way up that way. Well, Hugo, you take us away so we don't have to put me out of breath on camera.
Sure. As John said, I am in Burke Street Mall. Now today, Burke Street Mall is the centre of shopping in the CBD, the Central Business District downtown area. So if you want to start your shopping sprees, Burke Street is the place to do it. It is the home of several famous department stores in Melbourne in particular. Now behind me, this beautiful Art Nouveau architecture is of the Myer department store. Now when this particular store opened up just over 100 years ago, this was the second largest department store in the world at the time. And Sydney Myer and the Myer family and the Myer brand has been a big part of Melbourne and indeed Australia's retail history ever since. Today, the number one big competitor though, right next door, David Jones. Look at that, in a gorgeous building. Originally, or not originally, but one of the proprietors here were Buckley and Nunn. Now if our camera has enough power in there, we can see Buckley and Nunn in the mosaics right there. How you going, John? Are you out of breath yet?
Oh my God, whose idea was this?
It was your idea.
Just showing people. That's up, that's down, the things that we do for this channel.
Well, I can also point out some of more of the gorgeous architecture of Burke Street. So we've seen the gorgeous Victorian. This is a little microcosm, Burke Street here, of the diversity of Melbourne's architecture. We've seen that gorgeous Georgian-looking Victorian gold rush architecture of the GPO. We have the Art Nouveau of Myer and some gorgeous Art Deco buildings behind me here as well. Melbourne really is known as a city of diverse architectural styles, and I think it's really underappreciated to the locals and visitors alike. You come to a city, including a city like Melbourne, and you rarely look up. You miss so much in this city by keeping your eyes at street level. So a great tip for anyone visiting Melbourne or any other famous city around the world, remember to look up. Some of the best parts of Melbourne's architecture are found above eye level.
Well, Hugo, I have made my way to the very top. I'm at the roof level of the GPO right now. I'm way out of shape, so I'm way out of breath. I was hoping to be able to show you this window here, but it's actually boarded up right now, and I have a suspicion as to why. If you look behind me, you'll see a sign that says, "Attention, please note, this door is alarmed and unauthorized access will be reported to the police." And so clearly they had some issues over here with some people breaking in, trying to get up on the roof of this building. And so we don't get this great view because I imagine someone broke that window. But I'm going to go down a flight of stairs to show you it. Again, this is open. I'm not going to go on the roof. We're going to keep the videos legal for now. But I'll go down one level so you can see the view from here. You know, it's fine. It's not anything that's a special destination, but it's just this little hidden thing that I really appreciated about this stairwell is like you can get all the way up to the top of this building. I'm really fascinated by places that aren't very well known to the public, and this is offices. So right here we have, I believe this is an architectural firm's office entrance right over there. So that's all I have for today. Hugo, what else do you have to show us on Brook Street Mall?
One last little piece of quirky Melbourne. I mean, this is a city of arts and culture, and I've got 3 sculptures here, or one sculpture in particular of 3 men. If I can sort out, oh, there we go, all 3 of them at once. They're a bit kind of surreal, grotesque looking figures. I'm standing at the corner of Swanston and Burke, one of the busiest intersections of Melbourne, but these statues here are something that people pass every day without really kind of appreciating what they are. This is some artwork that was installed to celebrate the 150 years of Melbourne. These are the 3 businessmen who brought their lunch to work. And these 3 figures are representing 3 of Melbourne's important early founders or early figures. So Batman, who was known as the founder of Melbourne, Burke himself, and Mr. Robert Hoddle. Burke we didn't mention too much about, John. Mr. Burke was a man who was the first governor of the Port Phillip district, or well, he in fact was the governor of New South Wales, I should say, at the time. Let's get our facts reasonably right. At the time that Melbourne was founded. So therefore he's given the task of organising the settlement of Melbourne to be built after he finally legitimises the illegal settlement that was here, and he's given the task of naming the city and naming the city's streets. So there's a few decisions that have to be made. Now there's one man in particular who thinks this settlement should be officially called Batmania. Now imagine today, John, if you were taking guests around the city of Batmania. You were a Batmanian.
I wish.
Things very much could have been, I mean, Tasmania is named after a guy called Tasman, but Mr. Burke probably made the wise choice. He named this settlement after the Prime Minister of Britain at the time, a man called William Lamb, Lord Melbourne. So that's why today we're in Melbourne, we're Melburnians. But don't worry, Burke still got his own name in. He named this main street after the most important man he could think of himself, right? As you do.
Well, if you want to be that know-it-all at parties, so one of the best things you can do is to understand the difference between Burke and Burke. Because there's 2 big Burkes in Australia's history. There's that Burke, and there's Burke of Burke and Wills fame. They're the big explorers that tried crossing Australia and didn't quite make it, but we celebrate them anyway. And
that's probably another episode itself.
Oh, yeah. But in the meantime, if you see a street spelled without the O, B-U-R-K-E, that's Burke and Wills. And if you see B-O-U-R-K-E, that's the Burke you're talking about.
But
you know what, Hugo, I've gotten some great cyclical continuity here. I am now standing at the exact spot where you started the episode, so we're really getting our social distancing down. But let's bring
you
these to a
still see
close.
me? Should I wave?
All the way down Brook Street over there? No, I don't think we're gonna be able to see you. But in the meantime, guys, thank you for tuning in. My name is John. This has been Out of Isolation. It's a daily web series where we come to you going outside and showing you the city that we love, so you don't have to go outside yourself. My name is John, and I'll let Hugo finish us off. I've been Hugo. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone. See ya. 4, 3, 2, 1. It wasn't a very audible clap, John. You're going to be annoyed. We'll find out. I'll try it. It wasn't. Okay. One more time. Just count down from 5.